Hi, welcome to American Reversion. I'm Steve Smith. I was going to start putting up the new batch of videos here in a couple of days. Kelly and I are going to shoot what I intended to be the first one here in a couple of days. And I have a list of how I kind of want to do them in order, but something came up today that I saw that just made me say, well, that can't wait. I want to get this up there for anybody who may not know about this. Also, going to ask I'm going to ask everybody to spread this around as far as you can. People need to know about this, and there's a couple of other channels out there that I hope that you all will put this up too. It has to do with, well, I'll just get into it here. I don't need to explain it because it explains itself, but it's one of the things that is continuing to tear at the bedrock of our society, and we can't let this pass. This is from ToddStarnes.com. If any of you follow him, he's worthwhile following. And I'm just going to read it. And his headline is Tennessee ordering at-home well-being checks on every child in the state. That pretty much tells us all we know, but I'm going to read this article. Parents across the volunteer state, as Tennessee, are expressing alarm over a report that government agents will be dispatched to conduct well-being checks on every child in the state as part of its China virus policies. It's not the government's business how children are raised, one outraged parent wrote on social media. Yeah, that's the truth. Sadly, the government does think that it is, and things have been pretty much arranged over the last 40 years to get the government more involved and think they have a right to be more involved in families. And that's, of course, because of the destruction of so many families as a result of many government programs, right? Okay. The Tennessee Department of Education set aside $1 million in federal funding to establish the Child Well-Being Task Force. Their plan is to dispatch well-being liaisons across the state to, quote, ensure all children are checked in on, end quote. Since we know many children have experienced adversity due to the pandemic, child well-being checks are a deliberate way all stakeholders in the community can help ensure the needs of our children are met. Tennessee Education Commissioner Penny Schwinn told ClarksvilleOnline.com, I am encouraged by the hard work and dedication of the task force. Well, you're always going to get hard work and dedication out of people who you pay to meddle in other people's business, right? Okay, but I continue. So she's encouraged by the hard work and dedication of the task force in our districts to support kids and their holistic needs. Hey, you want to get, everybody on your side, throw in a word like holistic, right, or natural or organic. How can you argue with that? So we're going after their holistic needs. Many parents are livid, demanding to know what right the state has to come into their homes and check on the well-being of their children. This is an invasion of privacy and a grab at the state becoming the parent, one citizen wrote in social media. How crazy can you get? Well, that's exactly right. The state has tried to become the parent of children, has been trying that for a long time. And many people, half of our population thinks that that's right. According to a state document obtained by the Todd Starnes radio show, the task force will ensure that, quote, the needs of Tennessee children are met during and after extended periods away from school. Okay, so that's telling you right there that there's a question in their minds as to whether the needs of children can be met when they're not at school. Those needs of children should certainly not be provided for by parents, neither should the decisions for those children. Isn't that the job of mom and dad, not the government? Our writer asks. The task force will also, quote, empower local communities to meaningfully engage in ways that support child well-being. I love that. This squishy language. Empower local communities to meaningfully engage in ways that support child well-being. State Rep Scott Cepicki, it's Cepicky. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, Scott. Said he is working to repeal the program, calling it a government overreach. That's right. This mandate from the government coming in and talking to our children is totally unacceptable, and I will work to oppose any form of this program being forced on our children and families, he said. Tennessee Eagle Forum said they are especially alarmed by how much power the liaisons would be given. According to the state, a well-being liaison shall connect with each child in the county and or a caretaker of a child to birth through the completion of grade, it probably means from birth, through the completion of grade 12 if enrolled in school or 18 years of age. And that includes children who are homeschooled. Well, a lot of us who have homeschooled have kind of run into this before, and there are so many school districts and state legislatures and liberals who say, well, if you homeschool, the state has an interest in checking to make sure that your kids are being, properly taken care of. Are they being fed right? Are they being raised right? Are they whatever? Anyway, by what stretch of the imagination should the schools be in touch with babies and young children not yet in school and homeschooled students? Tennessee Eagle Forum wrote on its website. That's an excellent point, because they're not now just going after the school-age children. They're going from birth to school age, right? So they're just opening or trying to open this umbrella over essentially every kid 18 or under 18 years old. They also had concerns about liaisons preferring to interview children without the parents being in the room. That's right. And we understand this. I mean, I was in law enforcement for a long time, and I've been in situations where I have a very, sadly, a deep understanding of child abuse and all that. And there are situations to where too many of our children in our country are being abused. And that's because of well, gosh, we can get into those reasons, would go on forever. But it's because of the devolution of our society and the kinds of people now that are raising children or not raising children. And abuse is widespread. But I maintain that it's not programs like this that help, because most of them don't. All you have to do is to read. It doesn't take long, many days to go by before you read a story of another child who's been brutally murdered after years of torture, and the Child Protective Agency, or whatever they call it in their state, didn't follow up, didn't keep track, didn't check, didn't follow up on complaints of neighbors, and things like that. So the idea that these people really go out there and save these things and ensure the safety of children is ludicrous. They are soaking up government checks, and I'll apologize to those of you. I'm sure there are some of you out there that are doing your level best. Okay, this is not about you, but as far as the system goes, it has been a monumental failure and simply a tool of the government to intrude on the sanctity of the family. Okay, the fact that so many families are in disarray is a separate issue that we're going to be dealing with on another one. Anyway, clearly this is an overreach by the government, and conservatives should rise up and demand that Tennessee's Republican governor tell the so-called well-being liaisons to stand down. Let's see if that's the end of that article. Yes, it is. Okay, so that's pretty much, and I know I interjected some of my feelings in there instead of keeping them to the end, but we all know what this is. You all know what this is, and I would suggest, everybody, as we go through this, pay attention to what's going on in your school district, in your state. Pay attention to any of these bills that are coming up. There's going to be a lot of them. That old saying that they love so much, never let an emergency go to waste, or whatever it is. They're going to use this to try to increase government influence and intrusion into everything as much as they can. So now is the time that we need to pay particular attention and fight against that. We in our American reversion on the end card, or on the front card, I think it says finding our way back to America. Well, fight, but sometimes we have to fight our way back to America, and and uh, and then we'll find it and fight for it. But so spread this around, please. Send this to everybody. Everybody needs to know about this. And I would be especially interested. There are a couple of other channels out there. I know there's a million channels out there that will probably cover this. There is a couple that I know personally that I would be very interested. Real World Prepper, you're down in Tennessee. This is your state. A Zombie Farmer, you're in Tennessee. I'd love to hear what you all have to say about this. Hope you will make some videos on this and give us follow up and keep us up to date on what's going on down there. So anyway, spread this around. Let everybody know this has to be fought against. And if we don't do it now, there will not be a time later to do it. So keep that in mind. Thank you for being here. Like I say, like, subscribe, share with your friends, spread it around. We do want to build this channel. And remember that it's not that we want to slow down the devolution of our country. We want to take our country back to the way that it should have been, the way that it once was, or at least the way that it was founded to be. And for that, we don't need conservatism. We don't need to slow down the process. We need an actual reversion, taking it back to the way that it once was. So I hope you all will jump on board with that and help with that and spread the word. And I thank you very much. And we'll be back in a couple of days and get on our regularly scheduled list of videos. You all have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.